The name Volkswagen is widely recognized around the world. However, this company is not well known for owning numerous car brands, many of which are familiar to the public. In Europe, every fourth car sold comes from the Volkswagen Group. And in this video, we will explore the company's intriguing history, size, and some interesting facts. The company's name, Volkswagen, comes from German and translates to the people's car. It was founded in 1937 to create an affordable car for the people of Germany. To fully appreciate the history of Volkswagen, we must start with Ferdinand Porsche and his creation, the Beetle. Ferdinand Porsche, born in 1875 in what is now the Czech Republic, was a nonconformist with a natural talent for design. As a teenager in 1900, he designed the world's first front-wheel drive car, the Loaner electric chassis, which won numerous design awards and gained him recognition in higher society. One of Porsche's early cars was owned by Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and the designer went on to make significant contributions to the automotive industry in the following years. He left his mark in racing, civilian cars, and even designed aircraft engines for Austria during World War I. In addition, Porsche created the first gasoline-electric hybrid car during this time. Although he accomplished a lot, his real passion was to create a vehicle for the common man. In the early 1900s, cars in Europe were viewed as toys for the wealthy. But Porsche saw what Henry Ford had accomplished with the Model T in America and believed he could do the same for Europe. He tried to convince several European companies to produce a small, affordable, rear-engine car, but each time he was disappointed. Therefore, he decided to start his own company where he would have the freedom to build a car that was both affordable and aerodynamic. Despite facing multiple rejections, while trying to secure financial backing for his project, he was eventually introduced to Adolf Hitler, the newly elected Chancellor of Germany and leader of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party, in 1933. To provide some background, during the early 1930s, Hitler was viewed as a potential savior for Germany's economy and morale, despite ultimately becoming something quite different. At the time, Hitler wanted to showcase Nazi Germany's technological superiority to the world, and one way to do this was through engineering. He offered a prize of 250,000 Reichsmarks to any German company that could build a race car for the upcoming Grand Prix season. Porsche's engineering designs dominated the 1934 racing season, and as a result, he was contracted by the German government to build 3 prototype cars that could sustain high speeds on the new Autobahn project. These cars would become the Volkswagen Beetle. Originally, the car was going to be called the Strength Through Joy car, named after the Nazi Party's leisure branch that aimed to make middle-class leisure activities affordable and available to the masses after the economic slump of the 1920s. The car was not built for speed or beauty, but rather for reliability and affordability, with a top speed of just over 100 kilometers an hour and a market price of $390. The car was to be built by a new firm created by the German Labor Fund in 1937 called Volkswagen. A photograph from 1938 shows Hitler laying the cornerstone for the original Volkswagen factory, with Porsche standing to his far right. This moment in history can be both fascinating and frightening. The prototype car for the Strength Through Joy program had a lot of interest, with 300,000 potential orders. However, in 1939, Hitler invaded Poland and World War II began. Production of the car was halted and the factory was converted to produce military vehicles, including an amphibious version of the Beetle prototype and the V-1 flying bomb. The factory was a major bombing target during the war, and when it ended in 1945, the factory was in ruins. An undetonated bomb was found at the factory which, if it had exploded, would have spelled the end of Volkswagen. Ferdinand Porsche was imprisoned in France for his work with Hitler. and it looked like his dream of the small car for the masses may never come to fruition. However, upon his release, he spent time on the manufacturing floor, listening to workers and absorbing their ideas. Major Ivan Hurst of the British Army took control of the bombed VW factory and restarted production, and the first Beetles were made from the German Postal Service. Interestingly, the Ford Motor Company declined the opportunity to have VW for free, thinking the company was worthless. By 1948, Ferdinand was no longer directly involved in the Beetle, but went on to work on another project, the Porsche 356, which began the Porsche legacy. In 1950, Ferdinand took a final visit to the factory and was pleased to see his vision being realized. He would pass away 1 year later at the age of 75. Initially, the success of the Beetle was limited to Europe, as in America, large powerful cars were popular in the 1950s. However, through clever and honest advertising, a deal was made where US car retailers had to buy 3 Beetles for every Jaguar sold. After the Americans got a taste for the Beetle, they ended up loving it, and it gained worldwide recognition for its reliability due to high engineering standards and quality control. By 1955, Volkswagen had produced 1 million Beetles. The peak of the Beetle's popularity was in the late 1950s and early 1960s, with some customers waiting up to 18 months for their orders. However, sales began to decline in 1973, and Volkswagen responded by introducing a new generation of cars, which included the Passat, Golf, and Polo. In the 1980s, Volkswagen acquired a 75% stake in the Spanish car manufacturer Seat. In 1998, they added Bentley, Lamborghini, and Bugatti to their portfolio, followed by Skoda 2 years later. In 2010, Volkswagen acquired the Italian automotive design house Italdesign Cagario, which was a significant deal as the firm was known for its classic futuristic designs for several car companies, including Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, BMW, Chevrolet, Fiat, Ford, Ferrari, Hyundai, Lexus, Lotus, Mitsubishi, and others. The most famous of their designs is a DeLorean DMC-12. In 1981, the Volkswagen Beetle was famously used in the Back to the Future movie series. In 2012, Audi, a subsidiary Volkswagen, acquired Italian motorcycle maker Ducati, increasing Volkswagen's presence in the automotive industry. Today, Volkswagen is one of the largest and most valuable companies in the world, ranked 7th in the 2016 Fortune Global 500 list, with a market capitalization of $63.8 billion as of November 2016. Volkswagen has the largest market share in Europe's automotive market and is responsible for producing 13% of all passenger cars globally, producing 9.93 million motor vehicles in 2015. The company owns approximately 340 subsidiaries, including Porsche and MAN trucks, and has over 610,000 employees, which is more than the combined workforce of Ford and General Motors. Volkswagen Financial Services operates in 51 countries, providing loans, investments, and insurance for both private and business enterprises. Now, let's go over some fun facts about Volkswagen. Number 6, the classic VW Beetle was built from 1938 to 2003, and over 21 million were produced, making it the longest-running production model of any car and the best-selling car in history according to Volkswagen. Number 5, on September 18, 2015, Volkswagen was caught cheating on emissions tests using software that detected when the tests were taking place and adjusted emission controls to produce better results. This scandal, known as Dieselgate, caused VW's market value to drop by $30 billion and was a shameful period for the company. However, the negative consequences of this incident have largely passed. Number 4, Volkswagen named some of its cars after wind currents from around the world, such as the Polo after the Northern Polar Wind, the Passat after a German trade wind, and the Jetta after the jet stream. Number 3, 3 Volkswagen cars, the Passat, Golf, and Beetle, were among the top 10 best-selling cars of all time. Number 2, an entire town, Wolfsburg, was built to accommodate the workers of the first VW cars, and it has become the fifth largest city in the German state of Lower Saxony. The local football team is owned by VW and is ranked 30th in the UEFA League standings. The Wolfsburg VW plant remains the largest car factory under a single roof in the world. Number 1, in 1932, Stalin invited Ferdinand Porsche to the Soviet Union to advance industrial development with the help of experts from capitalist countries. He proposed to Ferdinand Porsche to become the general director of development for the Soviet auto industry, but Porsche declined after much deliberation. It was not because it was the Soviet Union, but rather due to the language barrier. He did not feel that he could manage such a massive engineering task if he could not communicate in the native language. If Porsche had accepted the offer, the Beetle could have been a symbol of the Soviet Union. Historians still debate whether Porsche was purely focused on the technical details of building a car for the masses or if he actually supported Hitler. Some argue that he had no choice and would have been executed by Hitler if he refused his offer. Despite this controversy, Volkswagen Group's engineering prowess is widely appreciated today. And that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed learning about the incredible facts and stories we shared in our channel. If you're hungry for more amazing knowledge, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our latest videos. Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and be amazed by the world around you.